Hey, what up, everybody out there? This is Duran again. I got one off the cuff. Traveling today, heading to my son's competitive dance show. It's going to be going on this weekend for Dance Academy down in Detroit. Looking forward to that. I figured while I'm traveling, I could do a couple of quick uploads. Been so many things that's been happening recently. And, I'd like to, I could easily just ramble and cluster them all together, but I'm going to try to do them one by one. One of the things that has transpired in recent days that I think is notable, some other channels have touched on it, but I just wanted to bring it to the surface for discussion, is a guy by the name of Peter Lameth. I think Peter Brabeck Lameth. Older gentleman. I think he was born in 1944. And he was formerly the CEO of Nestle. You know, like that little brown rabbit down in Indiana. I just actually drove past that factory on my way to Indianapolis a few weeks back. Anyways, what's significant about him? Well, Peter, the former CEO of Nestle, who was kind of notoriously famous for saying that no access to water should be free for humans. So no free access to water for anybody. That it should not be a free human right. Wow. Now the Bible talks about out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What dormant darkness dwells inside the heart of that man to make such a claim? But I guess that's a different discussion for a different day. Anyways, as I was saying, this former CEO of Nestle, Peter, saying no free access to water for humans and not making it, accessible. He has been tapped to become the interim World Economic Forum leader, and that was made available by Klaus Schwab. The guy looks like Dr. Evil, another older Caucasian fella. He looks like Dr. Evil, if you follow that kind of stuff. But Klaus has decided to step back and distance himself from the World Economic Forum. Now, who is that guy? Well, one of his famous sound bites was, "You will own nothing and be happy." That was one of his notable quotes. That's tied in with the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the 2030 agenda, all of the, globalism efforts, to make their euphoria, I guess. Well, that's what Klaus was often known for saying. He's stepping down. This former Nestle CEO is stepping in as the interim. Really, does that mean much changes? I mean, as I just mentioned, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. You've heard two notable comments from, I didn't even like doing that there. Sorry about the hand gesture. Two notable people doing, making commentary about what they think is, good for humanity. Which reminds me of a similar pattern that occurred. Old Gilly Bates, yeah, you know the name, former Microsoft founder, CEO. He stepped down just prior to Event 201, and then the whole pandemic that occurred, the COVID-19. So, he stepped down, and then he decided to put on his philanthropist hat and say, I know what's good for people. We've got all of these nonprofits and, programs going on throughout the world, which is a fancy way of saying he was testing bad things in poorer countries such as South America and Africa. Again, different topic for another day. But he was the guy that stepped up to be, the Paul Revere, if you will, of talking about the virus is coming, we got to do something. And that's, what he decided to step up and do in his hour of influence, to be impactful, to get everybody with the Jabberooski. So, very interesting development with that. What does that mean for the long term? I don't know. If we're talking about that organization as a whole, I can't say there's a whole lot of good that's come out of it. The framers of those organizations don't have my best interests in mind. And as they look past my generation into the younger ones growing and developing, they basically want to continue on a variation of what's often occurred through every society. Debt slaves. But they want to put, a fancy, shiny wrapper on it this time. You'll own nothing and be happy. Can you consider what your life has looked like in the last dozen years? As you go through different phases of, maturity, are you able to attain the same things that, your parents might have had and enjoyed? Or, do you find yourself being more frugal? I think it's the latter. Credit is not as attainable. So even if you wanted to live high on the hog, you're still less likely to buy all of the toys and extra frills of upper middle class lifestyle as what our predecessors previously enjoyed. And that's for a reason, because as inflation continues to rise, as the cost of living continues to rise, the attainability for natural resources in a supply-demand type of world becomes more limited. And as the limitations take place, you get restrictions, you get tariffs now, you get trade treaties that basically dissolve, and they can spike the costs. You got CEOs that are saying, this is another little tidbit about that Peter Lamette, while he was there at Nestle. He struck a deal with our Michigan governor and government to basically siphon hundreds of millions of gallons of our water from natural springs throughout Michigan to bottle them up and sell. Yeah, that was a policy that was agreed upon. One breath they're talking about Great Lakes are great and let's protect them and keep them for the next generation to come. But then quietly, in a boardroom, they're signing policies that go against that entire, dynamic of prosperity and longevity of our natural resources. So, a lot of crooked behavior going on, if you ask me. But I just wanted to present this to you, just something else to think about. It's everything happens for a reason. Not quite sure what the play is in all of this, but based on the track record, the history, the dialogue of these characters involved, it's not looking all that hot. So we'll do this again, maybe in the next few miles. To ride off the cuff. Peace.